Hey, Darren.
Hello, Darren. I said hello,
You're
Darren.
right. How are you?
I'm okay. First things first.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear about me getting my hair cut at the Only Fools and Horses themed hairdressers in Folkestone?
Obviously, I'd love to hear that.
The time I took to ask that question really did beg a no, actually. I mean, I'm sure your internal monologue thought of that joke and then rejected it.
This is I feel seen because I nearly did say, no, I'm not interested. Plus, I'm interested.
Yeah, called Cushty cuts.
Cushty.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait a sec. Yeah, they've got a. Let me see if I can find a picture.
I have the picture. I can put it on I can cut it in to this if you want.
Oh, it's just just sort of wondering if we don't have to do it that way all the time. Here we go. Here we go.
There it is, Cushty.
And there's Del Boy. I mean, I should say before I say anything about the experience, that I would thoroughly recommend Cushty cuts. It was a reasonable southern £16 for the haircut.
Wow, is that reasonable down there?
It's unheard of in London.
Wow. Amazing. It's tenner up here.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the thing is, we can't see each other's faces or haircuts, so I guess the truth of that deal will never be known, will it? That isn't true. You can still get 12 quid haircuts sometimes.
You bastard.
Oh, this is sidetracked already. Well, I mean,
all right.
I am starting to think that you do a little bit get what you pay for, really, a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the most you paid for a haircut?
12 quid.
Well, if you sort of, if you were to go online and search Darren Hayman Pram Town, an album of mine, you'll see the promo shots I did for it. And because the album has got a sort of 1950s Newtown theme to it, I wanted a 1950s haircut.
So you could have just come up to Bolton.
Well, because they're all 1950s anyway. Is that the joke? Yeah. It's good that we're both telling each other the joke we should have made and explaining the one thing. Yeah, so I went to a hairdresser's in Shoreditch and felt like I really wanted it done exactly right, because in some ways the sort of these photos hinged on the hair, and so I think, and this is a long time ago as well, I think that haircut was a £90 haircut. And it had products involved as well. Like, I went away with products to sustain this style, expensive products, which I think I still have, and are probably way past their date and
I
everything.
get products at my place, but I don't spend 90 quid.
Yeah. But the thing is, I mean, the young man, treated me like a queen, and you know.
Do you want to rephrase that?
Not really, no. Or a princess, maybe. And I don't know. Somebody once gave me this advice.
Do you think it was worth it? Was it a really good
haircut?
No,
of course it wasn't worth it, but also maybe it was. I don't know. Someone once gave me this advice, but the person who gave me this advice is possibly the richest person I've ever met.
Yeah.
So I don't know how good this advice is, really. But someone once gave me the advice that you should, once in a while, experience the expensive things in life, even if it's only to prove to yourself that they're not worth it. And I do sort of agree with this. Like, even if it breaks the bank, you should sometimes go for the 50 quid bottle of wine, even if it means you're going to stay in for the rest of the month. You can't live like that. I can't afford to live like that. But no. I know. I understand that kind of philosophy, because you can't. It's almost like you need to be able to prove that those things aren't worth it.
Yeah, it's funny because obviously there's a sliding scale with that, and for some people it will be, I'm going to have this vintage bottle of Moet and Chandon, and decide not that keen actually. And for other people it'll be, this Waitrose hummus isn't worth the expense, is it?
and also, like, the different areas of your life are like comparatively for your interests are like that as well, aren't they? I mean, like, I remember, like, my friend John was on the radio, and he puts out a lot of my records, and the question on the radio was, how can you afford to do this? Like, put out loads of albums for other people? And it was a strange answer, and it didn't immediately make sense when he said it. He goes, well, I don't belong to a golf club. And it was just sort of, this money, everyone has this money to put a record label, or a lot of people do, but they choose not to. They choose to do a load of other things. Oh, God, I pigs this drawing up. I can't get this right at all.
Neither can I.
I always feel like this, if I'm going to pencil, I'm going to stop penciling. I'm going to just start drawing. Right. Okay. I'm in so many tangents now. So, was the 90 quid haircut worth it? No, I never once went back again, but I really liked talking about it, and I really liked the service I got and the treatment I got. And I told him it was for a photo shoot, and he got very excited and was treating the job really properly, and even said that I could go back the next day, because I put the haircut for free, for him to just make sure it's all right and just do the gel and everything and get it correct. He was so excited that he wanted it right.
That's good.
And really good. Yeah. So no, I probably will never spend that on a haircut again. But I do think, I do sometimes think about, at least going to a ladies' place. But anyway, back to barbers.
My barber is actually a ladies' hairdresser, not a barber at all. Yeah, and
they still charge you 10. How much did the ladies play?
Much more.
How much did
No.
Let's keep the question I asked. How much did the ladies play?
Much more. I'm not sure, but it's about 30 quid, I think. I'll have to ask Becky. It's her hairdresser. I only go because you don't get lads banter there.
Which brings us neatly back to
go on. So
only fools and horses thing.
There you go. Yeah.
So the point I want to make is that I recommend them, and anything I say I don't want you to think I don't recommend them. And indeed, the night afterwards in Folkestone, I met a lady from Twitter who would recommend me a few places to go to in Folkestone. And she said, oh, yes, Cushty cuts. They're quite good. But she said it in that way, which made it sound like they're quite bad. Like, I think she might have used the word actually. You know, like when people use the word actually. Actually, Lidl's not bad. Anyway, you go in, and it's absolutely festooned with Only Fools and Horses stuff everywhere, every inch of the place.
Do they have videos playing?
No, they didn't.
Probably need a license for that.
Yeah. But the owner, a gentleman, maybe our age, maybe a little older,
right?
Didn't cut my hair, but his younger colleague did.
Rodney.
Well, guess what his name was? It was written in Only Fools and Horses typeface on his T-shirt.
It's got to be Rodney. Dev.
Darren. It was Darren.
I think if Rodney wasn't called Rodney, he would have been called Darren. Rodney is definitely a Darren.
Yeah, he's the right age. He's the right era.
Yeah. And he's a bit of a wimp.
I thought he was going to say he's a bit slow. Anyway, the conversation went a bit like this. Can you? What do you want? What would you like? I'd like just number 4 of the sides, and please. I mean, I had to say please leave the fringe. Please just leave the fringe.
Yeah.
I like to have a fringe that flops about over my face. And the main reason why I stopped going to hairdressers, well, partly it was the lockdown, but you just cannot convince people to leave the front long. They go, and they'll cut the side to that, and they'll cut that much off the front. And then, so over 4 haircuts, the front gets shorter and shorter, and eventually you look like Vinnie Jones, or more importantly, you look like a hairdresser. Because male barbers have haircuts like Vinnie Jones. They always do. They always just have really short at the back, really short on top.
Yeah.
Or worse than that. Am I going to say it? I think I'm going to say it.
Say it.
They're bald.
Say it.
They're bald. I mean,
mine is.
It's all right for you. You
but
don't
being
have a choice,
bald,
you know.
But being bald, doesn't reflect upon their skills at cutting hair, does it?
No, but it does mean you can't find out what kind of hairstyle they prefer.
Right. Yeah. True. Yeah.
Anyway, this young Darren had his hair shaved at the sides.
Right.
And very long on top.
Very popular.
And very, very long on top. Almost like the lead singer from Ned's Atomic Dustbin.
Blimey.
It's not.
So he's not unfamiliar with a floppy fringe.
Well, his was back. You know, it was sort of back off his face, so he wasn't really using it as a fringe.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway. Very good on customer service. Very, very much wanted me to know that he'd heard me. Okay, nothing off the front. I've got you. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you do? I'm a musician and artist. As always, gave a milliseconds thought to lying, but you know that's just going to get you. into more trouble, right? Successful. And I said, no. And then I thought about it. And then I said, actually, I've said the wrong thing then, because,
yeah,
I am able to pay my, mortgage, and plenty of people aren't. So actually, I am successful, I suppose, but I don't think you would have heard of me.
Yeah.
What kind of music is it?
Oh, God, I hate that question.
Yeah. Okay. So once this carpet guy came around to put carpet. Funny enough, the carpet guy came round to put carpet. And he was really interested. He was really interested in my Wurlitzer piano. And then as he left, he said, so what kind of music do you do? And I said, and this is the answer I usually give, actually, because I think it's sort of obscure enough to not really get many follow-up questions, but people understand the answer. So usually what I say is, indie, folky. That's normally like my response. It depends on the person. If it's an older person or somebody less of our type, then I might even just say rock music sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went indie, folk music, and he went, oh, like Mumford and Sons, and and I gave it some thought, and I thought, given the wide amount of music that's out there, actually, yeah. I mean, at least you're traveling in sort of the right direction, and I can't be bothered to explain it in any more detail. So, yeah, like Mumford and Sons. Oh, right, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, good stuff.
Daddy on folk.
Anyway, so I answered the same to Darren in Cushty Cuts. I said indie folk, and he went, no, I wouldn't have heard of you.
That's good.
He said, I'm more into Metallica.
Right.
I'm more into my metal. I said, well, I might do better in a conversation than you think, because as you know, I've been listening to a lot of heavy metal in the last year with my friend Andy in our lockdown album listening club. I said, I've listened. Recently I've gone through Iron Maiden. I've done the first 6 or 7 Iron Maiden albums, so I was quite excited. Chat about Iron Maiden. They're all about the history, aren't they? And then the devil and stuff. And this is, I guess, the point of the conversation, and the point why I wanted to preface this story with, I would recommend Cushty Cuts. But he then said, all that, Satanism stuff, it's not as bad as people think.
Oh God, that is pure hairdresser banter. That
it's the best sentence I've heard this month. I sort of walk down the street and still sort of say it to myself, that's Satanism. Because I've got the Satanic Bible, and it's not what people think. They think it's all just bad stuff. It's just, and I don't think he ever did tell me what it was. But he was keen to tell me.
I mean, there's the odd sacrifice of the Virgin and stuff, but aside from that,
I lent it to one friend, and she really liked it, and she came back to me and she said, "Oh, have you got the other book, the Book of the Rituals?" And I have got the Book of the Rituals, and I said to her, "No, I'm not giving it to you because I know what you want it for."
God, this it's not what you're expecting from a Holy Fools and Horses hairdressers, is it?
Well, you can see why I spent so long building this story up now, can't you? But you're thinking the ending better be good. Well, actually, this isn't even the ending. Two more things I think are worthy of inclusion is this tale. Is we got to the end. I mean, I should say, I don't think he was. I don't think he was a Satan worshipper. I think he's just a guy who likes his metal and likes to, the paraphernalia around it.
Yeah.
But we got to the end. And I thought I'd try out a little joke, so I paid him, and I looked around, and I said, "So, what's your favourite TV program?" It's not even that funny, but he didn't realise what I was doing. He's going, "Oh, I don't know, that's a good one." I sort of leant back, and I was like, "No, I wasn't serious. I was saying it because of." So that's how it left. It left a little bit awkward with my shit joke. And then I left.
You reminded me of it. This is slightly tangential, but it's speaking to someone in an establishment and then leaving, and it's feeling slightly deflated. And when I was on a holiday in Melbourne, we went in this like fried chicken place. It was a proper hipster chicken place, and it was playing this music, which was a weird, like obviously modern, maybe a bit like Tame Impala, quite psychedelic, but loads of really like spacey guitars and heavy fuzz and fairs and stuff, and I was fascinated by it. So as I was leaving, I was paying, speaking to the hip young guy at the till, and I'm like trying to be all cool. Oh, what this music's great, man. Probably said man a lot. What is this? Really, really great. And I think he said, can't even remember who it was now. I think it's either Neutral Milk Hotel or is there something Mortal Orchestra. Sounds like a hip hop.
I know Neutral Milk Hotel. I don't know the other one. If it is the other,
it might be the other one. But I was like, oh yeah, man, really cool, really cool. Turned around to walk out and tripped over the step and fell on the floor outside the shop. And my wife, she didn't reach down to help me. She just burst out laughing and spent the next 10 minutes literally crying at me trying to be cool in a hipster joint in Melbourne. To be fair, I deserved it.
It's crazy that stuff matters, isn't it?
Yeah. It burns your very soul, Darren. It's still there in me. I'll never forget it.
This isn't one that's even funny as either of them, but it's just like there's a sort of very sort of trendy coffee place where, as you know, I'm sometimes in Barcelona to see my lady friend. And I go to this coffee place and I drew a cup of coffee. I think it's up there on Twitter, actually. I think I tweeted it. And there is something about, even getting some kind of, like, we think we don't care about the youth or the hip people. We probably say we don't. But when they were going, oh, wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow, daddy-o. It's a really cool picture. And as I paid, I had my coffee, and as I left, I sort of, just left it and went, you can have it if you want. And afterwards, I felt like a real prick. Like, I'm probably just saying it. I probably say to everyone who draws a picture of the coffee, I probably didn't want it. Probably in the bin now. That stupid fucking old man. You can have it. What an arsehole. Right, and I just need to leave you for a second. There is one more detail to the story. I need to get some tissue paper.
Darren's getting tissue. Rubbing this out again. This is on purpose. I'm gonna do this several times. It's bad.
So I'd gone there because Ian, my friend who I was staying with, had said, "I'll go to the Only Fools and Horses place." Anyway, I came out, was walking into town, I was going to meet Ian a bit later for dinner.
Yeah.
Took a couple of turns.
Yeah.
And then there's a Star Wars Barbers.
Just a layer, please.
Oh, yes. Well done. Well done.
You go in. Go. What should be? You go in.
Oh, bro! That's the best joke you've ever made.
I've got something for you, Barber. I've got something for you. But and he says, "What will it be?" Wait for this, fella. Wait for this. Just a Han Solo, please. Just a usual one. But what? You're meant to ask for a layer. Everyone asks for a layer. Just a Chewbacca, please. What?
Or the joke is, like, it's not a start. It's a sketch show. It's the two Ronnies.
Yeah.
Right. Little Ronnie goes in and says, I'm just going to a wedding. I'd like it layered. And then you cut to him walking out of the barbers with two buns either side of his head.
Perfect. So,
I mean, firstly,
were there any more?
Why didn't Ian tell me? I mean, because I'm not known for my love of Only Fools and Horses, but well, I have a fond place in my heart for Star Wars.
Yeah, but I think an Only Fools and Horses Barbers is much funnier.
Well, I don't know. The success of the layer.
I reckon. So, was there anything obviously entertaining in the Star Wars window? Did you not take a photo of that too?
I think I might have done it. Let me have a look. Maybe I didn't. I might have been a bit too sulky. No, it looks like I didn't. No. It was called the Man Cave, and it had loads of stormtroopers in the window.
Right.
And TIE fighters, and then inside I saw it had a big picture of an X-Wing. So not quite as full-on themed as Cushty Cuts.
No. Not keen on that name either.
I think it was called something like that.
So, if you were opening a barber's,
can I just say this is so unlikely? Just want to say this, and I know that we have a rule, a sort of unwritten rule that we don't really acknowledge the fact that other people might be listening to this, but I'm going to break that rule. To say, if you are listening to this and you're in Folkestone, don't go into Cushty Cuts and say some bloke's done a podcast about you. Please don't.
No, I agree.
I mean them no disrespect.
No. So if you were opening a barber's, what would it have a theme?
Well, if I was opening a barber's in Folkestone, I assume it's the law.
And what theme would it be?
Has there been a sitcom based around the barbers? Is Desmond's a barbers?
Desmond's his barbershop. Yeah.
I think
the only one.
I think the theme of my hairdressers would be YouTube drawing videos. a funny thing to be a fan of, don't you think? Only Fools and Horses. I mean, I'm not in any way saying Only Fools and Horses isn't good. I think it's very good. I think it's really funny, and I watched it a lot when it was on, and but it's very sort of weird how super popular it is, isn't it? And it's a funny thing to be that fanatical about.
Yeah, I mean, the fact it was hugely popular isn't weird, but the fact that it suddenly became so popular that people would buy memorabilia of it is a little bit odd.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea where he got this stuff from. I mean, I've certainly not been in that many shops which have Del Boy masks in them.
Oh, I mean, well, I think it'd be very easy to find them, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't know till you look, do you?
No, you go to like Blackpool. I bet there's still shops in Blackpool selling Del Boy masks and stuff.
Yeah.
Must be, especially for stag do's and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously on my stag do, I wore a Del Boy mask.
Of course you did, yeah, and nothing else.
I just had Uncle Albert where your sporran would normally go.
No, it's another. Only Fools and Horses memorabilia is really weird, as is a lot of like TV and film memorabilia, because the Star Wars memorabilia I get, because at the time it was toys, wasn't it? And that's what, kids can want it and play with it. But as Only Fools and Horses, who's playing? Which 7-year-old kid's playing with the Del Boy doll and the Boise figurines? It's not going to happen, is it? It's really strange.
No, but well, as you know, I've got skin in the Star Wars toy game.
You have, but again, the Star Wars toys, I can understand why they were so popular at the time, and I can understand that. Well, a lot of people who collect these are grown men, but it's now a nostalgic thing. Whereas who was collecting the other Only Fools and Horses stuff at the time?
Lots of people are collecting these are old men. No. Only people who are collecting them are old men. I fully intend, given time, to do as many as 3 or 4 Brentwood tuxedos on Star Wars memorabilia, Star Wars relationship with me, and hilarious stories of me sitting at Comic-Con trying to sell my paintings of this stuff. Me trying to monetize Star Wars in the same way Cushty Cuts was trying to monetize Only Fools and Horses, but failing to a much, much bigger degree. But that's for another day. What have you got planned?
Drawing there anyway. See when you start. No. That's a mini Clubman.
Yes, brilliant. When I, as per our conversation on Dad's cars, that's the thing with drawing cars, where you're trying to, if you want someone to know the model, that's the tricky thing with drawing cars. This is. It's weird. I'm just not interested in cars, but I'm finding something really fascinating. Satisfying. Finding something very satisfying about drawing cars. There's something about when I do get the shape right, and And I really enjoy all this business, the reflection business.
Yeah. I think it's probably very good practice that you're doing a few as well, I think.
I think I've learned something about drawing reflections, I think, recently. And it's the same lesson you have to learn about drawing almost anything, which is actually just trust your eyes and trust what you're seeing, which is the thing we don't do. And so if it is that dark, then it is that dark. And if it is that light, it is that light.
Yeah.
Whereas your tendency is to colour it all in blue.
Yeah. And your brain lies to you. It fills gaps in that aren't there in the first place. Yeah. And sometimes you can use that to good effect, but I think you have to be quite skilled in order to get that sort of.
I think it's almost the main and only lesson of drawing, which I think I'm constantly trying to relearn. Trust what you're seeing. It is what you're seeing. It's not what you think it should be. Yeah.
That's interesting then you said about it's a lesson you're always trying to relearn. Don't you find that when you're drawing stuff, that you'll have a day where you have a run of some really great stuff, and then the next day you sit down to draw and none of it's happening at all. But it's like, well, you should be able to do this every time you sit down and draw, but it is often like you're having to relearn stuff over and over again.
Are you also sometimes quite sort of, this sounds really egotistical, but I think you sort of will know what I mean. Are you also sometimes shocked by yourself? I don't know. It's like I look at some paintings and look at what I've done, and I just sort of think, hold on, how do I do that then?
Yeah, I think it was absolutely.
I think it, especially sometimes if I'm going back and learning old songs, because an old song is being put into a set, I sometimes think, why would you have put that chord there, and how did you do that? Yeah, because I think it is a little bit of a dreamlike state when we're doing that, and I think there's all sorts of lessons we've learned that we're using, but try saying them out loud, you know.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally I'll listen to my old albums and stuff, and I was listening to one recently, and it was really good. I thought it was really, really good, and I was surprised at what I was doing in it, and the different changes and things I played, and I was kind of impressed by this guy who recorded that album. Yeah. And that's because I think, and this sounds really, I don't want to get all metaphysical and spiritual and that, but sometimes it does feel like when I'm writing a song that this song's just been handed down to me from somewhere. It kind of, they pop into my head and they're almost fully formed. And all I need to do is just sit down and start actually getting it into a format that other people can hear. And so for that reason, I don't necessarily feel that it's completely egotistical to say that it's good, because it's kind of like, well, I didn't write it. It just happened. Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does, but I have a little, I don't spend too much time on the idea of the mystical muse. I do think that those things are out there, and I do think like the chords and ideas float through your head. But I think one of the skills you have and songwriters have is just knowing to write it down, to actually do it, to actually act upon it, and a degree of decisiveness. Oh, this thing I thought today is worth pursuing. The thing I thought yesterday isn't.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of musicians have all sorts of ideas, but there's something about that. I know how to use it. I know how to edit it. It is, I think, the thing that turns. I think that's the thing that turns some people into songwriters.
And again, practice. Will get you to a position where you can just write songs.
Yeah, that thing I said earlier that you liked about relearning a lesson.
Yeah.
The thing with songs, I don't know how many times I have to relearn this lesson. Is you write the chorus, you write the melody and the chords, and I record it, and I go to bed, and then I wake up in the morning, and then I listen to it, and I go immediately, why are there so many words in this? Take half the words out. You can say that with less words. You can say that with less words. You can say that with less words. All my initial drafts of songs all have so many words in.
Right.
And then
mine have very few.
Mine usually do at the end. I think I pride myself on a certain sort of simplicity in the end product, but never in the early drafts.
Speaking of songs, I'm going to a street food festival later.
Oh, yeah. And you have a song called Street Food.
I've got a song called Street Food, which has one of my I like to think it's one of my trademarks of just basically singing the title over and over and over again. That'll do for chorus. Just sing the title 20 times. But yeah, I just know I'm going to be walking around this festival just singing Street Food to myself. Well, that should be fun. Bolton Food Festival, and it's really, really good. It's one of the I'm a bit low to say it, but I'm going to say it's one of the few things that Bolton gets right. There's like loads of famous chefs. I think Ainsley Harriott might be there. Maurice Bean runs over Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is it? Or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
All right, it's not just
it's really great. No, it's a full bank holiday weekend.
But you haven't been to any of it yet?
Not been yet, no. So today is the day that we tend to go on a Sunday. The reason we go on a Sunday is because, yes, it is a food festival, but what it is for most Boltoners is a drinking festival.
Of course.
And
the two things are popular bedfellows, aren't they?
They are, yeah. So we need the Monday to get over our partying, which these days is getting more like sitting around with friends watching the kids run riot. But yeah, it's really good.
Do you have in mind something you're looking forward to tasting?
I remember once there was a stall doing really good panilla wraps, and it was great. And they never came back, so I'm hoping maybe they've reappeared and someone's doing some good panilla wraps and something like that. I'm not vegetarian, but they just really tasty. So maybe something like that. Yeah. I like a wrap. I won't be getting a burger. You know I like a burger, but...
Well, I know you like a burger, but perhaps you could remind me of your burger manifesto.
Well, gotta be cheap. I also wrote a song called Cheap Burgers. It can't be more than...
which is, if you don't mind me saying so, your finest achievement thus far in your life.
Thank you very much.
I DJ it sometimes, and I have never DJ'd it without someone coming over to the booth with their head bobbing going, what the fuck is this? This is brilliant.
Really? Oh, wow. That's great.
Times, yeah. Several times.
And then it's like, And so you can't really buy it. He's too lazy.
Well, it's just hard information to get over.
It
In a
is.
DJ
It
booth.
is.
It's like, oh well, it's this guy. It's on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
He lives in Bolton, and they're like, yeah, all right, I'm bored now.
Basically, a burger. It's got to be cheap. It's got to be no taller than an inch, because you want to be able to hold it in your hand and eat it all in, not all the whole burger, but you want to get the burger in your mouth in one bite. It's got to be as processed as possible, and just really, really plastic and artificial, like a very famous burger chain that's on the high street of most towns. For that reason, I won't be getting a burger at a food festival, because they're usually about 6 inches tall, with multiple burgers and bits of bacon and extra shit and stuff, and can't pick it up. I'm not eating a burger with a knife and fork. So that's my burger manifesto.
Yeah, you're picking up on something there that I was almost going to say earlier with when we first started talking about street food. Street food's got to be portable, hasn't it? It's
got to be portable.
And over the road is the Crystal Palace Park Farmers Market, and some really lovely food. But God, you can't carry some of it.
No.
It's just.
This is why I'm looking for a wrap, because a wrap are always really, really good to carry. They rolled up.
But I think even some wraps, when they sort of like they overdo it, can still be quite messy. Like,
yeah, this is true.
Did I explain what I'm drawing? This is my first car.
Your first car was a Mini Clubman?
A minivan. It's I think it's slightly different to a Clubman. It's like a little, tradesman car sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. I think Clubman might still have the wooden bits on the earlier models.
That's what I think of when you say a Clubman, but
yeah,
I think this is technically a minivan. And in trying to research pictures for it, I became very excited by the fact that on eBay there are some dinky or someone has done a model of this car in the colour.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I just quickly saw it on eBay for like 50 quid, and I'm just hoping. Well, I suppose what I should do is I should find out how much I can get one for, and I should try and sell this painting for that amount so that I can get a model of my car. Maybe that would be the fair thing to do. Not fair on the person that has to buy it. They've had to. Maybe it is.
I'm going to do an experiment with this drawing now. The whole drawing's been an experiment, but I may completely ruin it. But I don't think it matters. This is the lead singer from The Chats. Have you heard of The Chats?
Could you spell that for me?
DHATS. Chatting, The Chats.
No, I've never heard of them. Are they current?
They are current. They burst onto the scene in 2017. They're from a suburb of Sydney.
Oh yeah. You've got are they friends with that other band that you're friends with from there?
I don't think they are. They may have crossed paths. I'm not sure how well they know each other. The Chats are really, really loud and punky, bratty. Bratty's a good word. Why? Very bratty. And the first single was called I'm on Smoko. And Smoko, SMOK, is Aussie slang for smoking break.
Okay.
And basically the chorus is, I'm on Smoko, leave me alone, I'm on Smoko. And it's just about workers who are like, don't bother me now, I'm on Smoko. And it's great, it's noisy, it's dumb. And they continued. They had they got a song called Pub Feed about pub grub. So they're extremely Australian and great. And so I just felt like drawing them today. They got a new album out. And do you want to know what the album's called?
Yes, please.
It's called, I may beat this, I'm not sure. It's called Get Fucked. Sorry, Bratty.
Why is that?
Silly.
Why is that? Why is that more funny than its constituent parts?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
You sort of feel like, okay, yeah, sure. Lots of punk bands must have called an album that. You know, there's probably another album for that. But it just seems so incredibly. Oh, okay. I've got to tell you a story. This is my friend Andy's story. Andy lives in Brighton, and he will crop up in our chats a lot because he is the other person beside you and my lady friend who I spend the most time chatting with.
He's your rock fan friend, isn't he?
Yeah. He is my best friend who doesn't like anything I like. Basically, he likes heavy metal and football, and yet we still find a lot to talk about by talking about other things. And he is in the process of moving and trying to buy a new house. And he went to view a house. And a lot of his stories recently have been about his hyperactive son, who I think is about 8. He's got 2 sons, but the older one can be quite a handful sometimes. Yeah. And I think possibly what was happening, will you be the judge, but I think possibly what is happening in this story is that he is perhaps nervous of change.
Yeah.
And, it's a big thing, isn't it, for a kid to move the house. And so they're waiting outside this house, waiting for the estate agent to come. He's with his partner and with Zach and Arlo, his 2 boys. And he looks down as they're waiting. The estate agent's a bit late. And Zach has used like a stone, when you can get a stone to act as chalk, and just written "fuck off" on the pathway.
Oh God. Any reactions?
Just as you might imagine, 2 grown adults frantically kicking and spitting and rubbing the pathway, trying to make it come up, He talks. I mean, I think it's one of those situations as well. And I've had this when I used to teach sometimes, where a kid does something that kind of makes you want to go Hulk, but at the same time simultaneously makes you want to laugh and go, "Yeah, nice one."
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well done. How are you doing there, then? Do you think?
Well, I think I'm nearly finished. It's just I'm having a bit of a problem. I don't know if you can see. I'm having a bit of a problem down here. The tyre is running into that shadow. It's perfectly fixable. I mean, I can even do it enough just to say,
"Yeah,
we're finished."
Tyres often do in photographs of cars. The tyres often do just become part of the shadow as well.
No, that's okay as well. But it's hard to explain what isn't quite right. But it's not. Yeah. That might be it. It's just the watercolours sort of just drying. So that might be it.
That looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. I sort of think that I think the other ones I did the other week, which just had a white background, they're a bit nice, where the subject is purely the car. And it looks a little bit like a brochure. And I think when I'm trying to put them outside in settings, which is different to trains, I think trains need to have their settings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm finished. Are you finished?
I'm finished, yeah.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to go on Smoko.
That's a good idea.
Yes. Not that it matters for the purposes of this, but
Oh, you've ruined it now.
okay. All right then. Bye, Darren.
Yep. Bye, Darren.